We all know about penicillin, right? It's the superstar of the antibiotic world. But what happens when that's not an option? Well, today we're diving into the world of specialist antibiotics to find out what your doctor reaches for when the headliner can't take the stage.
So let me ask you a question. Have you personally ever been told you're allergic to penicillin? It's a super common note to find in someone's medical chart. And if the answer is yes, well, that one little fact changes everything. It means your doctor has to set aside the standard playbook and open a door to a whole different world of alternatives, ones that are powerful, complex, and sometimes pretty risky. So let's meet this backup team. These are the specialist antibiotics, the drugs doctors call in to fight infections when penicillin has to sit on the sidelines. Okay, so these drugs have two basic strategies. On one hand, you've got bacteriostatic. Think of this like cutting off an invading army supply lines. It doesn't kill them outright, it just stops them from growing and multiplying. Then you have bactericidal. This is the direct assault. No messing around, it goes in and actively kills the bacteria. So who's actually on this specialist team? Well, you've got macrolides, oxazolidinones, lincosamides. Yeah, the names are a total mouthful. Don't worry, there's not going to be a pop quiz later. These are just the major classes doctors turn to. To make this all feel a bit more real, let's zoom in on one of the most common alternatives. We're going to do a little case study on the macrolides, which we're calling the everyday powerhouse. Now, you have almost certainly heard of this drug, even if you don't recognize the family name macrolide, because the most famous member of this group is azithromycin, which millions of people know simply as the Z-Pack. This table gives us a great little snapshot. Just look at its uses. It's a real workhorse for everything from respiratory infections to tonsillitis. Its whole trick is stopping bacteria from making the proteins they need to survive. And yep, those side effects are exactly what you might expect from a strong antibiotic: nausea, diarrhea, and cramps. But here is the secret to the Z-Pack's success: 68 hours. That's its half-life. It means the drug stays active in your body for a really, really long time. It's why a short course of just a few days can keep fighting an infection long after you've taken that last pill. Pretty amazing, right? And this is a big but, we're talking about powerful drugs. And with powerful drugs come powerful side effects. You have to understand the risk of, let's call it friendly fire, the potential for collateral damage in the war against infection. So beyond the usual stomach issues, there's a more serious risk: a super infection. See, these antibiotics are so good at their job, they can wipe out the good bacteria in our gut along with the bad. And that creates a vacuum, an opportunity for nasty bacteria like C. difficile to take over. This can cause a condition called CD-DAD, and trust me, it's as bad as it sounds. But with some of these other specialist drugs, the side effects are far, far more serious than just an upset stomach. Let's take a look at vancomycin. When it's given through an IV too quickly, it can trigger something called a vancomycin infusion reaction. Now, the key thing to understand here is this is not an allergic reaction. It's a toxic effect that happens when the drug is just delivered too fast for the body to handle. And the symptoms are alarming. I'm going to read this right from the source material. It's, quote, characterized by red blotching of the face, neck, arms, upper body, and back, and may lead to cardiac arrest. This reaction is so distinct, it was actually once known as red man syndrome. And the potential for harm doesn't stop there. Vancomycin also carries the risk of ototoxicity, which can cause permanent hearing loss, and nephrotoxicity, which is severe kidney damage. These are definitely not drugs to be taken lightly. This leads us right into another critical topic: drug interactions. This is what happens when medicines just don't play well together. And it is absolutely vital that your doctor and your pharmacist know every single thing you're taking. Here's why. And we're not talking about minor issues here. Just look at these examples. You combine the macrolide erythromycin with certain heart medications, and you can actually increase the risk of sudden cardiac death. Other macrolides can boost the levels of blood thinners like warfarin into a danger zone. And even something as simple as an over-the-counter antacid can stop azithromycin from being absorbed properly. So, with all this information, what's your part to play? That brings us to our last section: your role in the fight. This is all about being an informed patient and helping make sure your treatment is as safe and effective as it can possibly be. Here is your playbook pulled right from the patient teaching guide. Number 1, the golden rule: take the full course even when you start feeling better. 2, report those side effects, especially the severe diarrhea we talked about. 3. Be on the lookout for a secondary infection. And notice the practical tips, like taking oral macrolides with water on an empty stomach and separating them from any antacids by at least 2 hours.
So what's the bottom line here? These antibiotics are incredible, life-saving tools, there is no doubt about that. But they are powerful, and they absolutely demand respect. Understanding how they work and what the risks are is the #1 step to using them safely.
Which leaves us with one final thought. Knowing this whole balance of power and risk, does it change how you view a simple antibiotic prescription? Something to think about. Thanks for joining us.